Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926. And we are going to start Orlock's route today. So, first, we probably will get all of those missing skill CGs in the Alternativa ending. I think I thought that at one point, like in the last part, I was like, I think it's it, but I didn't like see it. Did I look up and see it in the guide? I might have, I don't know. But when I was opening Orlock's guide stuff, it says that you'll get like all of his CGs, the remaining ones in that one, and I was like, okay, that's probably the same for Gil. So yeah. Just confirming that if we didn't confirm it in the last part or whatever, because then I was like, but there's missing. I'm like, I think they're probably in that. That makes sense, but anyway, so we are going to start Orlock's route, but now what I completely forgot about, so I get to record this a second time, is I forgot when you start these that there is the little movie kind of intro, where the character talks and everything, and I kind of forgot about those, so we're going to jump into that. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit so you can hear it a little bit better. I will also refrain from speaking, just so if you have to turn your volume up to hear Orlock and whatever and read along with it, I'm not deafening you. I will keep my lips zipped until we come out of that and get to the thing. So this is where you have to pay attention because you have to watch what's going on and read it yourself. Read along with it, and then know that to turn your volume down if necessary when we get to the normal part of the game where, like, I'm going to start reading the text. So, like, no, because I'll turn the volume up a little, but I can't, like, turn it up and then gauge. Like, I think it might sound loud, but it might still just be too quiet for you. So I'm just telling you that. So if you crank up your volume to be able to hear him talking, you know when to crank it down. So I'm not deafening you because, you know. So anyway, let's jump in here. I'm going to crank up the volume and then we will get going.
俺はたくさんの罪を犯しました。与えられるものを信じて、そのために流れる血は正しいんだって。ずっと何の疑問も持たなかった。だからあの時、そのしわ寄せが全部一気にやってきた。清らかで優しくて特別な人。ずっと遠目に見てた人。最初は命じられたまま。そのうちに俺は生まれて初めて使命とは関係ない願いを持った。あの人をただ守りたいと思った。神様、俺たちを生かしてくれたのが、もしあなたのおぼし飯なら、俺の罪はもう消えることがないけど、どうか彼女に祝福を。
Okay, so if you needed to turn your volume up, I hope you turn it down now. I think I turned it up high enough because when I looked over, I was like, that seems like it's going up pretty high. So, but just in case. So, I'm gonna try to freaking remember. I said that after Gills. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta remember that those are there. And then I just like completely fucking forgot. And I started Orlock's route and I was like, ah, shit. So I'm like, I'll just do it over so that you can see that. And then it's not like super quiet. And like, I will try to write it down, but like if I write it down now, you're gonna be like 5 minutes while I write this shit down. So anyway, yeah, and of course, again, I don't fucking remember what happened in Orlock's route at all. So like, I don't know who's dead. This is gonna be a fun fucking surprise. Like, who's dead? What happened? We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna guess were me and not Orlock, so... Well, yeah, because it would say Orlock at the top. Okay, anyway. The church led many places of worship, and this was perhaps the most extraordinary. Beyond the atrium were impossibly high ceilings and a nave of staggering depth. Beautifully decorated altars and depictions of saints imparted an air of the divine. Like, old churches like this are always goddamn gorgeous. Terrifying, because the church is a scary fucking place, but they're beautiful. During this time of day, it felt even more sacred. I found myself coming here whenever I had something important on my mind. I can't believe it's been less than a year since I saw this place for the first time. I clasped my hands together before the altar and spoke a quiet prayer in my heart. It really was the strangest thing. I felt as though Orlock and I had been together a much longer time. Stop it, bird, not my headset. Please continue to guide us, and grant us peace wherever we may go. I then glanced to my side. Orlock CG. First CG in the game. Orlock was praying in silence as usual, but I felt his devotion as clear as day. His pale hair shimmered in colors the sunset cast through the stained glass window. His tranquil expression bore remarkable similarity to the paintings of saints around us. I looked down at his hands, folded in prayer. The color of his right wrist peeked out between his glove and the sleeve of his arm. It was his prosthetic arm. He had lost his right arm in a grueling escape. I thought that it'd be the last he would ever need to fight, but my heart ached with a familiar pain. I don't remember that either! I don't remember that. I remember nothing, so not surprising. After finishing our prayers, we left the basilica together. Oh, let's go, Space. Right. He offered me his left hand, which I accepted. We'd be leaving the church today. Our destination was Burlone, the town I once called home. I never expected the day would come that I would return. Of course, I did long for it sometimes, but there was another part of me that couldn't feel entirely happy under the current circumstances. The reason we're heading back there is... Who's dead in this route? Everybody? Is everybody dead? Chapter 1. I'm care? Oh, right, because some of them are... Oh, right. Gil's were in English. Somebody's was in German. Somebody's title was in French. They're all in different languages. Right, I forgot about that. So, is this the German one? That seems German to me. I don't know. You know what I mean? And I forget whose was what. I just remember that. I'm like, why is oh! I remember that now. Right. Yeah, so they're all, each one is has their titles in a different language. So, you know what? I'm not going to try to read them because I'm going to fuck that shit up. So, anyway. A few days prior to our departure, I awakened from the sunlight shining through the window. I need to get up. I slowly climbed out of bed and got dressed for the day. I would usually be wide awake by now, but my eyelids were heavy this particular morning. I feel like I was dreaming. A dream of living in my hometown, the place where I was born and raised. I was born in southern Italy, a town called Burlone, a town ruled by the mafia. Last year, I was dragged into the warfare that ensued as a result of my very existence. Orlock was the one who saved me and let her escape from the dangers of the mafia. The church took us in and became our sanctuary. So, in Orlock's route, was everybody our enemy? We had both grown accustomed to the new lives we led here. Just as I finished dressing, more slowly than usual, I heard a knock on the door, and I kind of vaguely remember us running away and being in a different town. And, like, that first background we kind of saw, not in the church, but there was like a fountain or something. I kind of vaguely remember that background. It's me. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Every morning, whichever of us was ready first would go to the other's room. It had become our natural routine. I opened the door to see a smiling Orlock. Morning. Did you sleep well? Yes. Good morning to you too, Orlock. After my dream of Burlone, it came as an immense comfort to see him. Let's get going. We should wake the children. Okay. With that, we began our day. Right. Okay, wait. I remember Emilio showing up here at one point. Like, did we, like, go and we became... That was in his after story, right? Like, it was the after part, like, the game, like, his route ended and then it ends, like, so we're, like, basically... Oh, God, I clicked that by accident. We're taking care of the orphans here, kind of like I helped take care of the orphans in Burlone, but that's kind of what Orlock and I were doing here. I vaguely remember that, okay. Anyway, with that, we began our day. Our daily task consisted of taking care of orphans who had no other family but the church. It was important work that was dear to both our hearts. Okay, I think I vaguely remember this. Yeah, because I remember this.
Say, sis, can you tell us that story from yesterday?
Just a moment. Let me get the laundry first.
Don't worry, I'll hang it up. Why don't you go and play with the children?
It's just so funny when he's talking about the children. It's like, I know they're church kids and they're orphans, but it is like weird, like, okay, yeah, right. We have a fuck ton of adopted kids. Thank you, Orlock. Oh, we're getting a thing. Our days were spent playing with the children. And we always do the meanwhile story. Let me just scroll up. It is introduced, right? Yeah. I know we always do them in these. Skip them in the bad endings. Wasn't right, because Rosberg was like, oh, this motherfucker, hello! I love him. Why does he look like fucking Nicola with a ponytail? Why does he remind me? You know what I mean? It's like Nicola's, like, twin brother. The eye color, I think, is different, but, like, I'm just saying there's some Nicola vibes going on in this. I'm just throwing it out there. I know it's a new dude, but anyway. Okay, no, Henry had the Lupin kind of accent, didn't he? I feel like he did, didn't he? I can't quite remember, but I feel like I'm gonna give this guy that voice too, because, like, Henry ain't here. So, like, I'm not worried about Henry. Actually, you could also be Henry's you know, Henry and Nicola have similar fucking... Are you sure Henry, Nicola, and this guy aren't, like, fucking, like, somehow related? I'm just saying. It's the sandy blonde hair is what it is. I don't think Henry's going to be popping up in this, so it doesn't really matter if this guy's got the same voice, so, like... I guess I don't know, anyway. I'm going to assume that he's the question mark person that's talking. No. I'm not sure who's who, so we're just going to pretend this guy's the one that's talking right now. Okay.
I see. What a truly fantastical story. One that's quite difficult to believe.
Actually, I feel like that was somebody else, and this is this guy. Oh my god, I don't know. Anyway, blah, 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 other line I just said. Anyway.
I understand what you mean. To be honest, your reaction is perfectly normal.
Undoubtedly. Had it not been the church that invited me, I would have already left. Oh no. No, I think that was right. Okay, I'm very confused. I'm not sure who's talking. Okay, maybe I understand what you mean. Because this is almost like this is like Rosberg's kind of office thing, right? I'm just trying to figure out who's who. You got to get the right voice. And you got to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes a difference. All right, I'm going to stick with what I originally did because I kind of feel like this guy, the new sprite, is saying the truly fantastical story. And then the person that invited him here, the person that we are that's hiding, is I understand what you mean. To be honest, your reaction is normal. Yeah. Because it sounds more like he's like, undoubtedly, had it not been the church that invited me, I would have already left. It would have been customary to call for a disciple to explain in my stead. However...
Is there a problem?
Any future contact will be carried out by a disciple as my messenger, so there is no use in hiding this information from you. The disciple in my employ is not properly functioning, so to speak. I feel like we're Rosberg right now. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Which is why I've appointed a replacement. Consider it a temporary fix, though it may be an inconvenience for the time being.
No matter. I'm pleased we were able to speak, especially since I just returned to Rome.
Yes, I understand you arrived yesterday.
What a keen eye you have on my whereabouts.
Well, that's because you're...
Somewhat important to the church. I am flattered. For now, I shall enjoy Rome's pleasures. Alone in the countryside are admittedly too dull for my tastes. And then again, one must build a loyalty among one's enforcers, and the family executives demanded my presence after all.
Oh my god. Wait, are you... They have great expectations for their new leader, as do we all at the church.
Oh, he's Raoul.
Ghirlandaio? Ghirlandaio? Something like that. I can't pronounce that. It's Italian. But anyway, Raoul. Okay.
I suppose it's my duty as their champion. A nuisance, to be sure, but it cannot be helped.
Ah, Raoul, have a look.
Something outside.
There in the garden. Do you see? The key maiden is taking care of the children. Look, he could be the locksmith to my key maiden. I'm just saying, this man's hot and I love him. He's gonna be evil, isn't he? All the new side characters are always fucking evil, but this one's hot, so...
I see. Not bad at all.
Take me, Raoul. This is like now the second character named Raoul that I'm into. Also blonde. This one doesn't seem like a himbo, though. He seems sassy. I like sassy. Anyway.
Our days were spent playing with the children. We washed their clothes, baked sweets, crafted flower wreaths, read books, and more. The whole day would pass in the blink of an eye as I did my best to keep up with them and find new ways of making them happy. To be continued. To be continued. That's it for story time.
Aw, already?
We need to wash up for dinner. Why don't we continue where we left off tomorrow?
But it was just getting good.
I like how this is just Church Child A. We had the other kids had names, by the way, in the other church. These ones are just A. We don't care.
I want to know what happened.
Amid the grumblings of the children, another voice could be heard. I'm rather interested myself. It was a voice I had heard before.
Oh, no, it's Emilio. Sorry. Emilio!
I am rather interested myself.
Emilio? My eyes widened at his sudden appearance. Emilio! We love Emilio.
Have you been here long? I'm sorry, I had no idea. I only just arrived. I was about to speak up, but I became so fascinated by your story. Which is why I wonder if you might continue a little longer for my sake. Oh, this is it for today. We try to practice the virtue of patience.
Orlock seemed to have noticed Emilio already and responded matter-of-factly. I love the fact that Orlock's, look at him glaring at fucking Emilio. He's like, fuck you, Emilio. Why do you not like Emilio? Did he not sign an autograph for you?
Have you no mercy, Orlock? Yo, not a good example for the children. I must ask that you refrain. Everyone, wash your hands before going into the dining hall. The three of you with mud on your clothes, get changed first.
Okay. Aw, shucks. Okay.
Hurried by Orlock, the children ran inside, full of spirit. I see you've taken to them quite well. Emilio's eyes squinted a bit as he smiled at how well Orlock got along with the children.
I love the fact that Emilio looks like he's 10, but he's like 110 inside.
So, was your story from earlier a local fairy tale? I don't believe I've heard it before.
Well, seeing me hesitate, Orlock responded instead.
She invented the story herself. Oh, how remarkable. Emilio blinked a few times in surprise, seemingly impressed. The collection of books here is quite vast, but I was unable to find many picture books for the children. The ones I did find are so familiar to them already that they've grown a little bored. At first, she told them stories she knew from her own childhood. But after enough days had passed, I ran out of stories to tell them, so I decided to create stories of my own. I see. You should have done so well with the limited resources available to you. Emilio praised me with a smile. So, what brings you by, Emilio? Wonder whether he just came to check on us. He gave a vague tilt of his head. A small request for Orlock. Is now a good time? Orlock glanced at me and I nodded in response. I'll head inside. Just leave the children to me. Understood. Thank you. After seeing Emilio and Orlock leave, I followed the children into the building. Emilio must have some disciple work to discuss with Orlock. Emilio visited every so often to ask Orlock to handle simple errands as a disciple. I hope whatever it is isn't dangerous. Feeling an ominous foreboding, I tried to shake the thought from my head. At the top of this church. Emilio and I walked up to the terrace on the rooftop where the cupola was illuminated by the sunset. And most of the tourists had left now that we were approaching closing hours for the day. What is it, Emilio? Unusual to see Emilio hesitate like this. I'll be needing you to return to Burlone. Burlone? There's another disciple who has taken over your post there. The one, I'm afraid, who's difficult to manage. Was Emilio the one in the office with Raoul? Because I figured it was Rosberg, you know what I mean, or something. I didn't think it was Emilio. Because didn't they make that comment in the introduce thing? But then I feel like it was weird that Emilio's like, look, Raoul, look at the key maiden, wink, wink. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway. Another disciple. Difficult to manage. He responded with a familiar gravity. Listen well, Orlock. You're still, in all respects, a disciple. Do you understand what I mean by this? Yes, I do. I had been tasked with a number of missions as a disciple, even after returning to Rome. Of course, none were comparable to the dangers involved in my original mission. But regardless, it means they've not relieved me of my duties as a disciple. And the number of disciples is so few, yet there's much work to be done. Each has their own mission, and none can be spared. If a disciple passes on, or is injured to the extent they're unable to fulfill their mission, a perspective is chosen, ordinarily. In your case, the mission once entrusted to you continues to persist to this day, which is why we need another to bear the responsibilities in your place. This person who replaced me is... Yes, a new disciple chosen from our current perspectives, the most talented, in fact. However... Leo looked down and paused for a moment, then raised his head and looked at me with concern. It is my wish that you retire from your given role as a disciple. The life of a disciple's not a long one, and you yourself were injured quite badly, but your talent is exceptional. So much so that those above me are hesitant to release you from your position, despite the loss of your arm. Returning to the subject, this replacement of yours, Johann. Though I'm able to contact him with ease, he has frequently acted contrary to my instructions, showing no desire to be obedient. In addition, his stealth is somewhat lacking, often resulting in unnecessary deaths. So, mission is to return to Burlone and... him. Leo shook his head as if he could read my mind. First, I need you to report to me Johann's status. Next, if possible, I ask that you speak with him and convince him to return to Rome. Should he rebel against your request, I will need you to detain him. I've been told that there's no need to preserve his life at this point. But I shall place my full trust in your decision. In the past, I might have nodded without question. Now, the idea of killing someone, taking another person's life, is something I can't agree with wholeheartedly. You were stationed there before, so you know the town better than anyone.
But whether you kill him or take him back alive, it is the general consensus that you're fully capable, despite your prosthetic arm. I personally do not wish that you go. You've suffered enough grief there as it is. Even so, I do believe it's in the best interest that you both obey what the Church demands to the greatest extent possible. Both. I knew immediately he was referring to me in space. It would be unwise to refuse, but at the same time... Seeing that I had fallen silent, Emilio began to speak again. Oh, one more thing. I must add another condition to your mission. Another condition. You must take Spacey with you. But why? As you know, Burlone is her hometown, and the two of you are very close. How long this mission will take, I cannot say. In the meantime, seeing you two separated would pain me. I also believe that sometimes more can be accomplished together. No. Serious. Emilio simply smiled. I had no idea what was going through his mind. Emilio's like, I just don't want you guys to be alone. It's sad. Look, Emilio's good. He's wholesome. As for whether or not you'll accept this mission, that's for you to consider and decide on your own. That means I can't discuss this with her. Correct. Should she find out, she'll no doubt wish to accompany you. But I do not want to see you accept the mission because of her desire to be with you. Smiled again. I look forward to your reply, Orlock. Weird, I want you to take her with you. I can't discuss it with her. No, because then she'll go with you. She's going to go with me anyway. Night had arrived. After finishing dinner, Orlock and I went to rest in my room for the evening. We had grown used to having each other nearby. For some time now, we had naturally fallen into the habit of spending the night together. Even during dinner, he looked to be deep in thought. He didn't eat much either. Feeling worried, I spoke up. Something happened. You should take a rest. Has something happened? I feel like that's straight up what we would ask him. Yeah, straightforward. Orlock? I was reluctant to bother him, but couldn't help but ask. Something happened. You seem to have a lot on your mind since Emilio came to visit. Sorry, I'll tell you later. Orlock replied with a serious expression. It's something I need to think about. I'll let you know once I have my answer. It's very important, so if you could please wait a while longer. I understand. Orlock breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, I heard knocking on the door. Oh my... This hour? I slowly opened the door, wondering who it could be. One of the children was looking up at me. She's the girl who just joined us. Noticing that she was fidgeting restlessly, I beckoned her inside. I closed the door and crouched down to her eye level, smiling so she wouldn't be scared. Did you come to see me?
Yep, can you tell me the story you told us today? I can't sleep because I want to know what happens.
She must be feeling uneasy about the change in her environment. Couldn't possibly turn her away. Well then, how about we sleep together tonight? I can tell you the story in bed.
Really? Yay!
Tonight will be a very special story time. I hope you didn't have plans, Orlock. You know. I'm actually, obviously in Gil's route, we were boinking that man left and right. I don't know if obviously I'm pretty sure we kissed Orlock, but I don't think anything else happened. Orlock is I don't think hanky-panky happens here. I don't remember. I picked up the smiling girl in my arms and carried her to my bed.
Yay!
She squealed with excitement as I tucked her in. Is it all right if I listen too? Of course. It was an adventure story about a girl who found a jewel out in the desert. I continued where I left off in a calming tone. When the moonlight shone upon the jewel, it sparkled in all the colors of the rainbow. After a minute or two, I let myself trail off. Her eyelids fluttered sleepily. In almost no time at all, she drifted off. The sight of her sleeping face made me smile. Sweet dreams. Nameless child, see? I'm seriously. I looked over at Orlock to discover that he, too, had his eyes closed. Orlock? I approached him quietly, laying a gentle hand on his shoulder as he sat in the chair. Are you sleepy? Why don't you lie down in your room? Fine. Orlock, who seemed to be dozing off, responded in a sleepy voice. Hearing your voice is soothing. Hearing you talk. But thank you, Orlock. I didn't expect him to say that. Of course, I was beyond happy to hear it. Oh, wait a moment, Orlock. Wake up. Space. His voice filled my heart with familiar joy, but... And I'm going to assume we absolutely go to the aria. Orlock is confronted by an innocent feeling of jealousy. I like these little arias that they added. Oh, and this is the little CG from the prior game. Right, this was the one at the very end after we came to the church, so. When she blessed me with a kiss, I looked up at Space as I lay on the grass. Is something the matter, Orlock? Oh, I was just thinking how Emilio comes to see you more than he sees me. Really? I thought it was the opposite. Emilio often comes to talk to you about disciple work, doesn't he? So, I thought about it for a moment. It's normal for Emilio to come and see me about my duties as a disciple, but I think the reason he comes to see you without a reason is because he cares about you so much. He's tilted her head a bit, as though she didn't really believe it. I'd say the topic Emilio and I talk about most is you, Orlock. I think he must care about you just as much as he cares about me. She was right, but I still had a hazy feeling in my chest. Emilio saved our lives, so there was no reason he couldn't talk to Space. I feel strange about him seeing her. Space? Kiss me? Huh? What? We just kissed earlier. And I said certain things that made Space blush in a really cute way. Her furrowed eyebrows were cute. Looking at her made the strange feeling go away, mixing it with something warm and fuzzy. So beautiful in this little CG, though. One more. You... Oh, you... She was still blushing, but she gently gave me another kiss. My heart was full of love. I hope we can always spend our days like this. I want to live with her forever. We'd always be together, and I'd protect the greatest blessing I'd ever received. Is love you. I got up this time and gave her a kiss. Space had a surprised look on her face, which was also very cute. I'd never felt such happiness. And just being near her filled my heart with love and joy until it spilled over. And with it, another smile appeared on my face. Anyway, his voice filled my heart with a familiar joy, but... Orlock, wake up. You'll catch a cold like this. That's not how colds happen, people! Stop it with this perpetual. You're going to catch a cold because you're not sleeping curled up in a bed. You're sleeping on a couch. You're going to catch a cold. That's not how it works. You got caught in the rain. You're going to catch a cold. I mean, does it make you more susceptible to catching a virus like a cold if you're freezing and you're not warm? Sure, but like, you still need the cold virus. Okay? It's not going to... Really didn't want to wake Orlock since it was clear that he was tired. Good God, I tried to read that so slow, but it's like... Man, these things when the meanwhile stories pop up. But anyway. Tells me how slow the text is in this fucking game. Seriously. The serious improvement it needs. Lon and Faye? I'm just saying, we're in Burlone now. Oh! I pinned him to the wall and put my knife against his throat as he struggled to escape. Oh, this is Johan. But we don't know what he looks like, so... You haven't been donating much recently. Come on, you do know you're supposed to keep your promises, right, old man? It's your own doing that you got in this mess to begin with. Listen carefully. You don't want this to... Please, I don't want to die. Uh-oh. Oh! Look at what you've done, idiot. You slashed yourself on my knife. I kicked the man after he crumpled to the ground. Maybe it was sort of my fault, but I still felt irritated. Damn it. I left the alley before anyone could see me. I'm assuming it's Johan, but... because we don't know what he looks like. This replacement gig really is a pain. Yeah, I think it's him. I need to know what he looks like before I can get a good voice for him. Sorry, Bird. I needed to control myself on the job. The hand couldn't be too light or too heavy. The reaction needed to be sufficient bait. Need to lure my target. Maybe I should have killed him. It was his maybe I shouldn't have killed him. It was his fault for struggling and getting himself cut. Huh. Again? Take the piece of paper tied to the pigeon's leg. Yeah, that's definitely Johan, but we don't know what I don't know what he looks like, so I don't know the voice to give him, so, like, whatever. Anyway, I really didn't want to wake Orlock since it was clear that he was tired. I couldn't just leave him here like this. I softly shook Orlock's shoulders to try and get him up so he could sleep in bed. I'm gonna assume that we're the target. Us or Orlock, you know what I mean? One of us. I kind of meant Orlock, but it could be us too, you know? Since, you know, like Eugene and Jack were basically... well, Eugene was the main antagonist in Gil's route. I mean, Yuan was, but I feel like Yuan's really going to be the main antagonist in Yang's route, and he was really antagonizing Yang and, like, everybody, but, like, because Orlock has nothing to do with the Burlone Mafia, it's Johan. And now Raoul. The next day, Orlock was looking after the children, giving me some time to do laundry. Oh! See, he's got two-tone colored eyes. Who are you? I remember seeing him in the thing too, and I kind of forgot about him, but I'm like, you can't be him. So, like, oh no, but, like, we're gonna have so many neat characters now added. Anyway. Buongiorno, signorina. Oh, buongiorno. Never seen him before. He seemed to be a new priest here, or at least one I hadn't met previously. He's a new priest? He's adorable! Look, he's like 12! Maybe he's like 20 max, I'm just saying. Forgive me for approaching you so suddenly. I simply wanted to meet you. The Key Maiden. Key Maiden. Is a name unknown to me until I arrived here with Orlock. Emilio told me of the Key Maiden's role and held in the legend of Burlone. What? Key Maiden's role and held in the legend of Burlone. Anyway, you know. When I say Keepers of the Grave, I'm referring to the current Falzone family. In order to break that seal, a chosen maiden's help is required. And I just think it's weird that Emilio, who might be like 600 years old in a 10-year-old body, is trying to explain this to me and is like, so how does that work? Okay, so, like, when a Falzone family member and the Key Maiden decide they want to unlock the grave, what he does is sticks his key in her lock, you know what I'm saying? And, like, fucking Emilio's basically explaining sex to us. That is the most fucked up shit. Like, we're like, huh, what's a Key Maiden? And Emilio is in his head like, yeah, I gotta tell this woman she's gotta fuck frickin' Dante over here. Like, it's just, Indeed, you are the key to breaking the seal to the sacred relic. I mean, there's just everything wrong about this. Like, kind of sexy, and Dante's right. Like, that's not. But, like, it's a little awkward and everything else, you know? Handing her over to the Falzone would be right in the eyes of the church. Only a select few know that I'm the Key Maiden. Oh, is this Johan? I bet it really is him. Probably is, and he's here seeing us, and then he's going to disappear, and then later we're going to see him, and we're not going to know. I carefully chose my words. Why me? Who are you? Yeah, who are you would be good, like asking who he is. Oh no, why me? Okay, I was like, I figure when you meet someone new, like, I just interested in meeting the Key Maiden. And who might you be? And sort of like, oh, okay, let's have a full conversation and don't get their name. That's just rude, but sure, let's talk about ourselves, rude bitch. Why did you want to meet me? He clearly knew who the Key Maiden was, so perhaps he'd been told the secret. Something in his demeanor made me feel concerned by the interest behind it. I feel like because he's got two-toned eyes, he's also a disciple, and he might be Johann. You're someone very special, and it'd be an honor to know you. Is that a strange thing for me to say? I didn't want to miss the opportunity to meet you in person. I certainly mean no ill will. Is it possible you don't know just how special you are? I suppose. Sorry, I clicked that too fast. All I know is that the Mafia and Bishop Rosberg tried to use me. And that was what caused Orlock to become injured. I see. You've not been informed, it seems. Well, there's no need to worry. After all, knowing things isn't always helpful. So why are... I do apologize for interrupting your work. I should get going. He left before I finished asking my question. That's probably Johann. Just then, Orlock came to my side as though he had been keeping an eye on me while caring for the children. Because, see, like, he's got a yellow eye and a red eye, and that guy had a yellow eye and a green eye. I'm just saying. What's that? I don't know. He only said he wanted to meet the Key Maiden. You don't know him either, Orlock? I don't think I've seen him before. Oh my god. I don't think I've seen him before. Pity. Oh god, is it gonna be? Is this where we find out? But why would he come all the way here when he was just in Burlone? It is him. I stopped and looked back at the garden. I could see Orlock speaking with her now, obviously in regards to me. Even with knowledge, there were things beyond our control. To be so unaware of one's surrounding is so... The corners of my mouth curved into a smile. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's absolutely fucking Johann. I don't think I've seen him before. Why did he come here to see me? I feel something ominous stirring in my heart. You think that, like, Orlock should have asked Emilio, so what does Johann look like? Oh, okay, so he's got, like, blonde hair, and he's got a yellow eye and a green eye. Not hard to miss. Also dressed in churchy robes, probably. And then we would have been like, oh, that's that guy that we saw in the garden! Could have stabbed us right then, but obviously that's not what he wants, so. As usual, Orlock and I were spending time together in my room after dinner. Orlock suddenly spoke in a serious voice. Space. Talk. Oh god, are you breaking up with me? I'm just kidding. About what? Let's go up to the cupola. I asked Emilio to leave the door unlocked for us. It must be important. Okay, let's go. I'll meet you there. Never shows up. If I don't show up, he can't break up with me. Text doesn't exist here. There's no cell phones. He's gonna have to write me a letter, and if I don't open the letter... So beautiful. We hadn't been out on the terrace at night in a while. Orlock and I sometimes came up here to look at the stars and down at the city. It was our special little place. He took my hand gently in his. I covered it with my other hand and waited for him to speak. I've been given another mission as a disciple. The assignment is... Burlone. How why Emilio wanted to talk to you? Yes, the mission he gave me is to investigate and report on my replacement from the church. It seems there have been problems in Burlone since my departure, which is why I believe that it's my responsibility to solve them. Orlock was looking at me earnestly. I want to go with you. I accidentally scrolled up too far, so I saw this already. But, I mean, it makes sense. I want to go with you. Orlock looked troubled by my response. But he gave no sign of surprise, probably because he expected me to say so. No, I wish you could come, but not this time. There's no telling what might happen. It could be dangerous. Didn't Emilio actually say that you have to take me with you? Did I read that wrong? I thought Emilio said you have to take her with you. Not, you can't. I might have read that wrong. And saying this because I love you. I can't let you come with me. Orlock felt the distinct strength of his resolve. But for some reason, I couldn't shake the competing notion that arose within me that he shouldn't be going alone. Suddenly, Emilio? Oh, have you forgotten, Orlock? He appeared out of nowhere, looking at us with a benevolent smile. He appears out of fucking nowhere because Emilio's like a little angel. Or like actually God. I'm not really sure, but whatever. Emilio! Sorry, forgot. One of the conditions for your journey to Burlone was that you must take her with you. That's what I fucking thought he said. Okay. Emilio? Emilio! Anyway, I can't do that. The Burlone Mafia still exists in that town. Even if their leaders have fallen, the rest of the organizations remain. Not safe for either of us to return there. Even if their leaders have fallen. So, like, in Orlock's route, are Dante and Gilbert dead? And Yang's dead? Is everybody dead? Is Raoul related to fucking Dante and Nicola? I really fucking need to look up who's dead and what motherfucking route. Like, cause you know what? I kind of really wish there was a synopsis on each one of their routes. Like, here's what happened. Here's the key play. This person's alive. This person's alive. This person's dead. I need to know. Somebody might have put a compendium out on a video, but I'm not really 100%. Piofiore, they just started posting. Like, I'm trying to record as much ahead as I fucking can, okay? So, like... so I haven't seen, actually, it's been almost a week. The first couple of parts might be up right about now. I'm, like, really far in advance. Like, trying very hard to get far in advance. But, like, yeah. So I don't know if anyone's commented. In this route, these are the people that were dead. I don't know. Anyway. Well, at least in Gil's route, we remembered Nicola was pretty fast. We were like, Nicola's gone. Oh, he must be, or like, Nicola's grave. Oh, well, I guess he's dead. This one, now I feel like they're all dead. Whether alone or together, the danger will persist. And that's why I told you she should accompany you wherever you go. Wait, can you tell me what's going on? Listen carefully, Spacey. Emilio's figure bore a faint light against the darkness of the night sky behind him. Right? He glows, because he's like an angel. You may find a great many things Orlock possesses that you do not. At the same time, so do you embody unique qualities absent in him. That is true, but... Orlock murmured quietly, still confused. If you wish to protect her, she must go with you. If something were to happen while you were away, you may not be able to return in time. Is he implying staying here with the church isn't safe? A grim understanding appeared in Orlock's tense expression. If your decision to return to Burlone's absolute, let me inform you that there's someone there to assist you. Oh my god, it's gonna be Raoul. Okay, then maybe Emilio was the one talking to Raoul in that office. Ally of the church. In a sense, although whether they will act accordingly is something even I don't know. I suppose we cannot consider them as an ally just yet, but should that person reach out to you, you know that you can trust them. Emilio continued reassuringly. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether they're indeed trustworthy or not. We accepted the wisdom he bestowed in silence. Though neither of us said a word, our hands joined together conveyed an unspoken support. The light of the stars that shone down upon us were as bright and beautiful as ever. We returned to my room, still contemplating the discussion that had just taken place. I decided to finally break the silence. Orlock? When were you planning to go to Burlone? I was thinking of leaving in a few days. But before I can do so, learn more about what's currently happening there. I know there isn't much time, but to find out whatever I can. See? Orlock closed his eyes for a moment, thinking a while before speaking again. He said he wouldn't let me decide. Said he would let me decide, but he also said that I'd need to take you with me. I asked him why, but he didn't give me a clear answer back then. But after speaking to Emilio again just now,
I think I understand why. It's because you're the Key Maiden.
See, I wondered why the idea still felt so foreign. I guess we have not blanked Orlock because we wouldn't be the Key Maiden anymore, because, like, we forfeited that role the amount of times we did the deed with fucking Gilbert. He, like, literally fucked our job out from under us. Thank God. You know what I mean? That's a really weird phrase in this game, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, I'm just throwing it out there. And Orlock is a good little church disciple boy, so I just, can't imagine him throwing us down and having his way with us. But you never know. He could be the kinkiest one. Oh, it's going to be awkward. As though we were referring to an entity entirely different from myself. The priest who approached you this afternoon was one I didn't know. I always thought you were safest here, but perhaps there's been some kind of change taking place within the church. Orlock paused for a moment and stared at me. Confusion in his eyes had disappeared. I want you to come with me to Burlone. I will protect you no matter what. I want to come with you too. I'm not sure how much of a help I can be, despite what Emilio said, but don't worry. You've always been there for me when I needed you. Orlock. Orlock's sweet smile was encouraging, and my anxiety began to melt away. And so, we decided to return to Burlone together. Oh my god. Objective? Emilio! I do not doubt Orlock's abilities. However, his skill alone's not enough to overcome the trials he'll face ahead. Her presence beside him will have a significant impact. Indeed, his fate's inextricably tied to hers. Looking now on what will come to pass, it will be in their highest good to leave this place.
Truly a grave error in judgment. It was your duty to ensure their roles could be fulfilled. The events of last year nearly decimated the bloodline of the Keepers of the Grave. The protection their family has received for generations is for you to uphold. Fortunately, there remains one who possesses the family's blood, so the worst has been avoided for the time being.
Oh. Okay, maybe the church head was the one. I'm not sure if it was the church head or Emilio that was talking to Raul, but I'm gonna guess fucking Raul is of the Falzone bloodline because he looks like he reminds me of fucking Nicola. Like, when I was like, he kind of reminds me of Nicola. Well, that explains a lot. If they return to Burlone, they'll inevitably be dragged into the tides of chaos that ravaged that land. Orlock's injuries were not yet fully healed. I would have liked to shelter him in this quiet refuge a little longer. However, opportunities abound in an imperfect world. I have laid some groundwork in contacting him. I should prepare myself as well. And so, we decided to return to Burlone together. The decision seemed to stir something within. Fleeting images flashed through my mind, of the tragic memories from our past, as well as fears of what was to come. You may find a great many things Orlock possesses that you do not. At the same time, so do you embody unique qualities absent in him. One thing I knew for certain was that I was meant to go with him. A few days later... Yeah, I remember this background, so... After finishing our prayers, we left the basilica together. Oh, let's go, Space. Right. Letter. Meanwhile, story. That one didn't seem... you forgot that one was coming because meanwhile story just popped. I'm sorry. Direttore exists in this? I'm very excited. He was my favorite. Look, I love Henry, but like I like him better when he's got the mask and the fucking fabulous hair, and he's just like, you're a card. Okay, he definitely has. Okay, so Raul, I didn't think he was gonna be in this. So we just gave Raul the kind of sort of Lupin-esque voice, just because I'm running out of voices, but Direttore definitely has a loop. But, okay, there's a little more subtle one, and then the fabulously fabulous one. So, we'll just, hopefully they're not in scenes together, it'll be okay. It'll be alright, I guess. Look, I got 4 fucking voices, and we gotta do the best we can. Maybe we should have given Raoul a fucking another Irish accent or some shit, because then Yang would show up all the time, but Yang will be dead in this one, so we wouldn't have to worry about it. Anyway.
I let out a sigh as I read the letter. I see. Things are proceeding as planned. I suppose I have no choice. I will move as the situation demands, and that this really is quite bothersome. And I don't see how any of it matters.
I am just so excited that he's fucking, like, actually in one, because I was like, is he just never going to show up again? He's not showing up as Henry. He's just straight up Direttore.
Right.
He offered me his left hand, which I accepted. We took the little we could carry and set off from Rome to Burlone. When we initially made our escape from Burlone, I was worried that we would never reach Rome. The journey seemed to stretch on forever. But this time, it was the opposite. Hardly any time had passed at all before we found ourselves once again in the town we both knew so well. Upon our arrival, we took a nostalgic stroll through the streets. You sure it's all right for us to walk around in the open?
Yes, it's unlikely that anything will happen in Arca if we keep to ourselves.
When I lived here, Arca was known to be safe from the conflict that brewed elsewhere. The Mafia had formed a pact to maintain neutrality here, only here. Burlone doesn't seem much different from before. Orlock had informed me of the surprising change that resulted from the events of last year. Namely, that the Mafia had gone into hiding. I suppose it makes sense. After all, there were so many deaths in each of the families.
Feeling nostalgic.
Yes, very much so.
I think I lived here for 5 years myself. If there's anywhere else you want to go, we can stop by. Was there a place you had in mind?
No, let's just head to the church. We decided beforehand to visit the church first. I was like, when she was like, no, and I'm like, we're not going to the church? Okay. I left Burlone without having a chance to say goodbye to everyone I knew there. My leaving had even caused them problems. I did send a letter of apology once before, but couldn't disclose anything in it that would reveal where I was. Naturally, there was no way for me to receive a response, nor could I learn how everyone felt about my departure. Do you imagine we just booked it? We're like, sorry! Left a fucking post-it note, peaced out, and then we popped back, what's up, Mom, Dad? Like, what the fuck?
Spacey.
Sister Sophia, Elena, Mom, bestie, you know. Orlock slowly pulled me in toward him, away from oncoming traffic.
Are you okay?
Yes, thank you. Okay, we'll keep going. Got like 2 minutes, but I'm like, maybe we can do this. When we stopped in front of the place that was once my home, it suddenly became harder to breathe. Orlock gently squeezed my cold hand.
I'm sure they won't be upset with you.
Fuck.
This church is a place where I feel the people who live here are your family. If you tell them what happened and apologize, I'm sure they'll understand.
Could you imagine Sister Sophia slaps us in the face, kicks us out, slams the door? Give me a break. Yes, you're right. Memory. I didn't even have to scroll, but I just know we have to do all these, so. Leo! I forgot Nicola's voice too, but like, I think he was just pretty normal. Leo, you seem down lately. Is something the matter? Have you been left by a woman? Well, I figured it might be something like that. But don't look so glum. I'm sure she just wasn't the right one for you. Don't cry, don't cry. And this is what makes boys into men. Say, why don't I buy you your favorite gelato? I like chocolate, right? Nicola was strict, but was also kind and caring. He was stabbed here on this street. Thanks for this, Leo! Yeah, I got him back to the manor while he was still breathing, but he passed away in front of the boss. Damn it. I looked down at the ground, dragging my feet. Things had gone downhill ever since.
After Dante and Nicola died, the person who took over the Falzone family was some new guy. Distant relative of Dante's named Raul Girladano? I don't know, I can't pronounce his last name. Anyway, Raul. I knew things would be different with the change of hands. It was only natural, so Raul shows up and you're like, why do I feel like you're Nicola's brother? So, like, distant cousin or some other guy. I'm just saying that makes a lot of fucking sense because he looks like goddamn Nicola, so. And that's when I also realized, I'm like, well, Nicola and Henry kind of look a little there. He's of their bloodline, so it makes sense. Now the family's a total mess. Bel's own family I once knew and loved wasn't completely gone, though. I understand what's happening, but still. I wasn't around the manor too often these days. Bit my lip, feeling frustrated. I feel so bad for poor fucking Leo, and the fact that, like, Dante and Nicola are both fucking dead. Bird, stop it. Suddenly, I thought I saw the hem of a coat whip past the corner of my eye. Familiar color jogged my memory.
I love you, buddy, but stay off my headset. Stop it.
Wait, was that? I looked back in a hurry, but there was no one there. Am I seeing things? There's no way he'd come back here. But what if he really had returned? Can I avenge Dante and Nicola's death? Oh no! Orlock, if you kill Dante and Nicola, that makes me mad, but like, whatever. But like, you can't kill Leo! Stop it! I'd never seen him up close before, so I couldn't be sure it was really him. Maybe Giacomo would know. I set off to find him, pushing down the feelings that were about to overwhelm me. Poor Leo. No! Leo, don't! Orlock, don't kill Leo. I know we don't love Leo, probably, in this one. Like, we never made friends with him, but still. Yes, you're right. I nodded in response, taking in a deep breath and continuing onward with Orlock's hand in mine. Bird, stop. Okay, we're at time anyway, so I gotta end this because my bird's being a pain in my ass. He's like, I don't trust him near my headset. I know he's just trying to kind of shove underneath it, but it's kind of annoying, and choose my work headset, so I'm always like, stop it. Like, I don't trust him not to chew this one, but anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.